Chris, a great question from Chris. I think he's I'm sure he's speaking from the heart. So he's saying, so Chris is asking, what's it like to coach your own son?
Yeah, it's great. I'm a proud dad, and it's brilliant that he's got such an interest, and he's quite a student of the sport. He knows more about races I've done than I do. And, that's great. It doesn't always, Tom will be the first to admit, it doesn't always go smoothly. And certainly in his younger years, there was a little bit of, we didn't always see eye to eye on things, but it works really well. And, I was thinking about how I would broach this subject, not necessarily about Tom, just generally the fact that I remember at that first St. Mary's coaching course, it was almost, you were asked to write down whether you were going to be aiming to coach elite athletes or development athletes. And I remember at the time thinking, well, no, you're not going to suddenly, get an elite athlete knocking on your door and when you're a brand new coach. And I just thought that was a peculiar sort of question for me. And the way it's always worked really is I consider myself a development coach, if any. And I've always enjoyed, or not enjoyed is perhaps the wrong word. It's always been nice to know that my knowledge will stop and someone else can take over, because my fear would be, that sort of age old hanging on to an athlete when their best years are slipping away or what have you, and sort of holding them back. So for me, it's always been great. So Tom's based in Leeds. I know on paper I'm his coach, but I also know that day to day he's doing what you tell him, which for me is, it's great because I don't have to worry about it and I know he's doing the right stuff. And if an athlete progresses beyond my expertise, then that's the way it should be. And, some coaches might, rue the day or hum and ha, but for me, it's very much, that's a positive. So, but going back to Tom, he's all right. He's
all right. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Lots to discuss. Right. Anyway, that's so brilliant. No, thanks, Steve. Hopefully that answered your question, Chris. Right. So we've got a couple of others. So Sylvia asks, this is specifically about the Isle of Man. So about the Isle of Man event, how do you introduce athletes to such long distances, and how important is technique in these cases?
The parish walk, to be fair, other than it is judged, so they do need to not be running, technique is not, as someone who's done it, my technique probably lasted about 20 miles and then it was a big stride. The fastest guys do race walk all the way around, which is quite phenomenal. But most people it's a big, long hike, to be fair. Was there another, how do you introduce people to the distances, was that?
Yeah, how do you introduce the people to those long distances, like the parish walk?
Well, really, you don't have to introduce them. You're usually trying to persuade them to come down in distance and think about something shorter. But the parish walk is about 6 or 7 weeks away, I think, at the moment. And the Isle of Man, every time you go out in your car or you're on the road, cycling, walking, running, you will meet people walking. There's hundreds of people out all the time walking. And it's, you see them all shapes and sizes, all speeds. And it is, so you don't have to persuade anyone. People turn up to training new, middle-aged, and say, I'm going to finish the parish. And you think, well, maybe you won't, but people are amazing what they can do. And it's sort of people see their friends do it and think, I can do that. So it is amazing, but the Isle of Man is full of people striding purposefully.
Yeah, I've seen them, and often in high vis.
High vis is a big deal. Which is great. Yeah.
Brilliant. Cool. Thanks. Hopefully that's helped you there, Sylvia. Right. Hi, Graham. Question from Graham. And hi, Steve. This is really good, really topical. Did you do any coaching over Zoom or similar during lockdown? And if so, how was it?
No. No, I didn't. No, I mean, the way I think we were lucky on the Isle of Man that our lockdown was slightly different, certainly shorter. We've had a few periods of lockdown, but we did have a big period last summer when we weren't locked down. So we were able to meet up, and during the periods of where you're not allowed to meet up, which there's been quite a few, it's just keeping in contact, keeping communication going. It never got long enough that we were particularly worried about technique sort of falling down. And so no is the answer, Graham. I'm not a big, I did a few family quizzes. That was bad enough.